Those trucks are loud.
Well, I guess it's better than being at the hospital, which we couldn't park in.
The Skyline Medical Plaza.
Right. For those of you who don't know, we got ran out of the hospital area. That light is so bright in my face, it's kind of, I guess I'll get used to it though. Plus you can edit.
Do you want me to turn it off?
No,
Let's see what it looks like. Let's make those eyebrows come back. Just for... They're not there.
That's because you still have the light on.
Alright, look up. No, it's too fast. Slowly look down toward the candle. Alright, now slowly look back up. That is creepy. Okay.
Well, why don't we just start asking questions? Maybe that'll help.
Okay. I wonder if... Okay, is that better? That's a little bit less bright. Okay. Why don't you just explain who Pig Boy is and what the Wicked Bird is? Or his Wicked Bird is?
Well, Pig Boy, of course, is a nickname. Because I took baby pigs to... Well, I always wanted to take them to show and tell, so... I think at some point I had to be stopped from trying to get them to show and tell. I got to take them one time. And so there are several meanings of Pig Boy, because part of it is a nickname that I was assigned, part of it is from family myth. And now, of course, that nickname has taken on a whole different essence because I've chosen to write about it. And the Wicked Bird, of course, is this, the finger that was most impacted. Okay, I'm gonna get the magnets out.
Well, why don't you talk about what they are, what they're for?
Oh, we had magnets made up to put on the outside of the RV, and it was raining yesterday, so we didn't have a chance to put them on, so we haven't even got to look at them yet. Okay, we're gonna put on the magnet. That has the website address on it.
So tiny.
It looks small, doesn't it?
Is that what you ordered?
Well, I ordered it off the internet and it doesn't look the right size, does it?
I don't think anyone is going to be able to read that.
I guess we'll have to reorder. Hi, yeah, can I speak to the manager, please? Oh, okay. Well, could I leave a message? Okay, this is Doug Crandall, and I've been trying to get a book signing set up in Terre Haute, Indiana. And I'll be doing the Action, well, the CBS affiliate morning show there on the 13th. Doug Crandall, C-R-A-N-D-E-L-L. Yeah, I'm the author of Pig Boy's Wicked Bird, a memoir. Well, it was short notice, but I appreciate you trying, and hopefully, we are 20 miles outside of Bloomington, and we do the Barnes & Noble with Julie there tonight. Of course, we'll certainly do that. Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer, and hopefully I'll get to see you sometime. All right, bye-bye.
What was that all about?
That was the Barnes & Noble in Fort Wayne. You know, I've been trying to get something with them and couldn't. And they just it was after the Muncie trip, so she just couldn't get it worked around. So she was just calling to say she couldn't, which is nice because many times they don't even call. And I don't like it at one bit. So we won't be doing 4-way.
You're such a nut.
All right, well, we got the magnets resized. I don't know if you can see them here, but there was a miscalculation in the size of the magnets, and so we're happy with that. We're in Bloomington, Indiana on the first book tour stop, and this is just off of East 3rd Street in Bloomington, which is kind of like a lot of sprawled areas in the country. Lots of different shops around here. But we're excited because the manager here seems to have gone to quite a bit of effort to make us feel at home. As you'll see when we go up, there's a poster in the window, which is good for a first-time author. There we go. Okay, well, we're approaching the Bloomington's Barnes & Noble. Julie Drake here, who's the manager, has proved that not all corporate bookstores are insensitive to new authors. So I'm scared, of course, because it's the first time I've ever really done a signing kind of on my own. But I have a friend named Steve Hall who has a PhD, and he said a long time ago that the best thing to do to get over being scared of things are just to do them, and that his life got better when he started doing things that scared him. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to make ourselves do something that's kind of frightening.
Look, there's your poster. Do you want to talk about it?
I guess 3 people showed up. Two elderly friends of the publicist's mother, which was nice. Then the book's nicely displayed in Barnes & Noble, but no one really even stopped by for a free Pig Boy butt. So I'm sure the next stop will be better. The people in the store were very nice. They announced to the patrons who were in other areas that we were at that table, but no one really came. So,
Hey, what's on for today?
well, we have a 10 o'clock interview on the phone with the Ball State magazine. And then Shelbyville tonight at 6 o'clock. So it's kind of a full day. But we got the magnets yesterday, so that solved the problem. And then we've got better water pressure today, so. Yes, can I speak with Miss Smalls, please? Hi, this is Doug Crandall. My publicist said you'd be calling, but I think we messed up on the time. Yeah. She told me, you know, I get all confused on the daylight savings time with Indiana. So, anyway, was this the time we were supposed to be talking? Okay, great. Oh, okay, well, good. Okay, I guess I didn't get confused.
What are we doing today?
We're meeting the Fox 59 affiliate. It's a local TV morning show at this farm up here called Amazing Farms to do like a 3-minute live interview on that television station, which primarily is for the metro Indianapolis area. So that's what we're doing. Right there it is.
Morning out here. It's absolutely wonderful. Sun shining down on us. I am way north of Indianapolis, north of Noblesville at the Flanders Amazing Grain Farm, and I'm joined right now by Doug Crandall. Doug grew up in the state of Indiana on a pig farm, not a whole lot unlike this one, except that this is a grain farm, and wrote this book. He now does not live in Indiana, but he wrote this book called Pig Boy's Wicked Bird. One thing Doug says is if you ever get the opportunity to make friends with a big pig farmer, go in there and ask him to hold the runs and then run away with them. Doug is currently on his book tour. Let's go ahead and show you the book. There's the book tour information right there. Friday, he's going to be at the Borders, downtown Indianapolis from noon until about 2. Then tomorrow on Saturday, he's going to be up in Muncie at Vanner's Bookstore from 11 to 1. So head on over there, check him out, meet him, and get a copy of the book. There's the book right there. You can log on to our website, fox59.com, for some more information on that. Doug, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. And thanks for writing the book. I think a lot of people will really enjoy it. Angela, back to you.
This is a motor on an auger, much like the one in Wabash County in 1976 where my hand was injured, particularly on a belt like this. The corn was kind of stuck. It was an old engine. I'd seen my brothers pull on it, and I put my hands on it, and it lurched in, and of course got these 2 fingers.
Have you ever drained a septic tank on an RV?
What do you think?
No.
But I smell totally like pig crap anyway, as you can see. During the interview, Stella the pig pooped on me, so...
That was funny.
Well, we've debated who would actually get to do this. Clearly, it was going to be me.
Well, you seem to be in shape right now
Okay,
to do that.
I'm going to do it, and you might see some stuff coming out of here.
And you know, when you pulled that lever, I don't think you should have. Oh, gross. Oh.
There's some of your poop.
Ew, that is gross.
Why isn't
It
that
might be
fitting?
your poop.
Why isn't that fitting?
Because I think it goes the other way. Because look, you've got to have a wide mouth to fit over that thing. That's why I was saying I think you put that red thing on backwards.
But it fits in that way. It doesn't fit in that way. See, look. See those 2 notches? See how those 2 notches fit in like that? So the only thing is, maybe this goes here.
That is so gross.
And maybe this goes here. It stinks.
Oh.
Let's get on my hand.
Why didn't they give you 2 gloves?
I'm gonna vomit.
You know, the other day we began a brief discussion about the similarities between the South and the Midwest. And it came up again today when you were doing your book signing. I think it would be interesting to hear more about your thoughts on both the similarities of those 2 regions as well as the similarities of those literary histories attached to those regions.
I think what we talked about was Anderson and Faulkner and their relationship. But I think it goes deeper than that, and that families who have struggled to make a living or to try to go after the American dream, that's what ties the South and the Midwest together. Those are regions that have typically been the most impacted by socioeconomic downturns. When the economy goes, those are the 2 first areas that are impacted. So out of that, I think people have to find forms of entertainment that don't cost anything. And out of that, people pass down stories from not just one generation to another, but from one person to another on the public square or in a grain elevator, or in a factory. People tell those stories. It's just a natural part of, I think, of those two regions. That history is rich, not just because of Faulkner and Anderson, but because people tend to find ways to survive through storytelling. To me, that's the most significant connection. I can say, having been here in the Midwest now for 4 or 5 days, I miss the South. I moved there specifically to learn how to write and to tell stories. This is the farm that we lived on when the accident happened. All that we farmed. Here's the house. Of course, it's a lot different now because the landlord, son, lives there now and has for many years, and of course fixed it up. None of these trees were there. None of these nice shrubs and all that. But there's the bin. The silver bin is where the accident happened, right there.
Have you been back in there since the accident?
Not at all. But as you went behind those trees farther out, it's where you'd walk the pasture to my grandparents' house that they lived in, that was also owned by that same landlord. It's all, of course, built up nice now. Much, much different than when cash renters lived in it. Back there is the house that my grandparents lived in. All these fields we still farm. And again, you did all the work, but more than half the profits went to the landlord. Up here, just a little ways, is a kind of what was considered a haunted cemetery. If you go out on this road much further, you get to what's called the Prairie. And the Prairie was considered haunted by Satan worshipers. Here it is. There's reportedly lots of ghosts out here.
And you thought your grandparents' house was haunted too, right?
Right. Well, a lot of people say this whole Prairie Bottom is haunted from the Mississinewa battle between the Miami Indians and settlers.
And it's right next to the cornfields.
Right.
When I died on the part of heaven, I would not do heaven's word well. I pray the devil comes and takes me to stand in the fire and burns.
Well, there's powerful sadness in Pig Boy's Wicked Bird. It's also hilarious. You do a very effective job of engaging the reader throughout with the intricacies that you detail. You also masterfully combine the serious with the ridiculous. What was your strategy for structuring these complexities and peculiar dynamics?
Well, humor was used in my family for healing, so it wasn't difficult to really work in the humor so much as it was knowing when to use it and how to use it at that time and place in the book. I don't think you can write humor straight through, and I don't think you can be serious all the way through a narrative. So just when it felt right to me, where I felt the reader and myself needing a break from all the intensity of healing, I tried to capture one of the many times my family used humor to cope with loss and healing. My name's Doug Crandall. I grew up in Wabash, Indiana. Does anybody know what Wabash, Indiana is famous for?
Wabash.
Close. Crystal Gale, one. But the first electrically lighted city in the world.
Yeah, right. No one ever knows that. And by the way, Wabash doesn't hold a light festival, so we're not sure what that's about. This is my book. It has a pig's butt on it, so you probably won't forget it. This is my very first book. I write fiction and creative nonfiction. This is a memoir, so this is a true story about my family. Of course, living on a hog farm that we did not own in Wabash, Indiana. We were considered cash renters, which means you were in many ways a more contemporary sharecropper. You did all the work, and the person who owned the land and the farm took all the profit and let you stay in the very bad house that they provided. My family, my name is Doug. My family was known as the 7 Ds. My parents' names, embarrassingly so, are Dan and Doris. I have 2 brothers named Derek and Darren, 2 sisters named Dina and Dana, and of course I'm Doug. I'm going to read a little bit. We've been on about a 7-day book tour, and we'll go to Terre Haute tomorrow. This part that I'm going to read is actually about Terre Haute. My maternal grandparents lived in Terre Haute, and we rarely got to see them. And that area, as I'm sure many people could relate to, takes on a mythical experience, because we never got to go there, and we thought that's where all the fun was. And we didn't see them much. And shortly after what I'm going to read, my grandfather Basil was a coal miner, and he died of black lung. And then my grandmother, again shortly after this visit, died of loneliness about 9 months later. So what I'm going to read to you is about going to their church. I suppose I should say that I got the nickname Pig Boy because I wanted to be a pig farmer. And for show and tell, I always brought pigs, and at one point that had to be stopped, both by my parents and the teachers, that they no longer wanted to see the runt pigs that I was bringing in. On the farm, of course, if you have some type of disability, you, as an animal, are exterminated. Runt pigs are killed. If they are not strong enough to live, they're taken out of existence by farmers. I thought when my hand, and I'll show it to you, it doesn't look so bad these days. These 2 fingers were severed in a farming accident, and if no one's offended, that's the wicked bird. As you can see, it's a little kind of crooked now, but back 26 years ago, it was lobster red, and I had to soak it 2 times a day in Epsom salts, and that was pretty painful. My brother Darren began reading pulp novels to me, which really kind of shaped, I think, who I am today. So where we are at, what you need to know is we're in Terre Haute with my maternal grandparents, and we are at their church, and I have really never been to a church in my life until we go here. My hand is still injured. For some reason, my mother thought that it needed to be wrapped in Wonder Bread bags over the gauze. That same summer, yeah, it didn't help, by the way, it made it worse. That same summer, unfortunately, she suffered a botched hysterectomy. And last year at this time, so you can kind of get a feel of how publishing goes, last year at this time I flew to Wabash, Indiana, well, not right into Wabash, Indianapolis, and then drove in to interview her even more extensively about her botched hysterectomy. She began speaking in the 3rd person, and once she read the book at the Indiana State Fair, I guess 3 weeks ago, she told my littlest sister, Dana, your mother never used to talk in the 3rd person. So maybe she started to accept that. But here we are. Here we are in Terre Haute.
We're at WTHI, the CBS affiliate in Terre Haute, Indiana, for a very early morning interview at 6:30 a.m. for their morning show. We had to get up about 5 a.m. this morning after only getting to bed around, well after midnight, so we're kind of tired. This is about a 3 to 4 minute interview to promote the book and talk about it a little.
imagination.
Talking about it.
Now, the Wabash Valley's most trusted and accurate local weather forecast with the live Red 10 Storm Team's David Wire.
Good morning, everyone. The weekend finally behind us. I know I don't mean to really say finally. I don't think anybody really wants to go back to work on a Monday morning, now do we? I'm sure a few of us do. I don't mind saying yes. It's nice out there today. It's a good day to get outside and get going. But some clouds down to the south. Well, trying to lift a little farther to the north into our neck of the woods. And look what the clouds are doing right now. Some very light rain down in Tennessee. Basically just cloud cover with a few little light returns down into Kentucky this morning. So what's happening here today is not going to watch necessarily to our west, but down to the south, and a few clouds look to move in. First off, morning fog. You got to deal with the fog when you have it.
You wrote a book. So why don't you tell us about the synopsis of Pig Boys, Wicked Bird? It's an interesting name.
Yeah. Well, Pig Boys Wicked Bird is a memoir, which means it's a true story. And it's about my family growing up on a hog farm in Wabash, Indiana. But both of my parents are from Black Hawk in Brazil,
Oh, wow.
here around Terre Haute. So it really kind of portrays the summer that my hand was injured in a farm accident, and my mother slipped into depression from a botched hysterectomy.
Oh, wow. So is it, is it a drama? Is it a comedy?
I hope a little bit of both. I've had people say that it's both funny and sad, so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, from the title you could think a little bit of comedy.
Exactly.
So how did you get the title?
Yeah. Well, I had a nickname of Pig Boy because I was kind of chunky. That was one way. And the other way was that I raised rump pigs on the farm and kept those alive when normally they would be exterminated. So I got the nickname Pig Boy that way.
And then Wicked Bird?
Wicked Bird is what my brother said I should do with the finger that was most impacted by the accident. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So far, how has been the reaction of this book?
Well, we have been on 8 or 9 city tours so far. I'm heading back down south where I live down in Atlanta for a literary festival. And we've had a lot of great folks from the Midwest saying it really rang true with them in terms of how their own family struggled with trying to buy a farm and struggling with health issues and all that.
And so you live in Atlanta now?
I live in Atlanta, yeah, I have for the last 8 years.
So is it nice coming back here?
It's wonderful to be back. We were in Wabash to see my family, and of course hope to see some family members here in Terre Haute.
All right, now people are interested in the book. How can they get the book?
Well, it's available at Books A Million in Terre Haute. It's also available in bookstores everywhere, but Amazon.com, and you can visit my own website, which is www.dougcrandall.com. And if you send me an email there, I can send you a signed copy.
Oh, great. And it's a little bit of everything, right?
It is.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another check of Live Red 10 Storm Team meteorologist weather with David Wire is coming up next. And also check out your events calendar for today. But first, here's another look at that information for Pig Boys Wicked Bird. It's now, I don't know what time it is, but thanks for joining us.
Bless his heart, he's so tired.
The Midwest book tour is officially over, and we'll be heading back down to Atlanta to do some mini southeastern book tours. And while it's been good to be back in Indiana, I'm ready to get home.
The manner in which you structure the introduction is very effective.
I assume you're talking about the fable.
Right, right.
Actually, in the early editing process, there was some discussion about taking that out, that maybe the first chapter worked better, but I had strong feelings about that. I thought that it set up the tone of the book and the nature of childhood memories.
So I wanted it to stay, and I think in the end it's a piece that works for the conclusion of the book.
Slipped away somehow.
My parents' dream had not come true, the one about having their own farm, but they'd made another one work. They'd had a family, one that had gone on to do the same. In the end, in America, it's the only dream left worth having. I am the pig boy. I nursed from a sow. Admitting it now feels like the right thing to do.
Won't you scratch my itch, sweet Annie Rich, and welcome me back to town? Come out on your porch, step into your parlor, I'll tell you how it all went down. Out with the truckers and the kickers and the cowboy angels, the good saloon, every single town. I remember something you once told me, and I'd be damned if it did not come true. 20,000 roads I went down, 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 and they all led me straight back home to you.
Bless those who struggle.